Another strange place, another town in need, and another job well done by us deliverers. We best keep ourselves humming, otherwise all this good work is gonna go right to our heads. But though the moose has been dealt with, there's still the matter of the reason why. What drove the moose to attack the townfolk and cause all this ruckus? What secrets does this elven temple hold? Let's find out on today's short quest, Long Rest.
So, Dreamer, you were able to recall that around the symbol for the half moon was the inscription, "Unlock the tombs of the half moon." Whereas around the inscription of the full moon, it read, "Gaze upon your own face and have 7 questions answered."
That's what it was. So that's the mirror's about.
So, with this giant clear gnomon in the center and the sliver of moon in the sky, as I say sliver, probably about 3/4 full this time of the month, casting its shadow, stretching towards the 3/4 moon symbol.
Oh, 3/4 shadow, okay.
Yeah. Because the moon is in its 3/4 phase, the shadow of the gnomon is stretching towards the 3/4 moon symbol.
Gotcha. Okay.
But there is no inscription around that one.
Interesting.
Is there an inscription on the other half moon and the new moon?
Nothing on the new moon. As for the half moons, both of them share the same inscription.
Tavini is having a look at the one that's being pointed to see if there's any difference about it. And she's also going to bring out her water skin.
The tip of the gnomon's shadow is resting across that moon. But looking around, you don't see anything that you would associate with the half moon, or with a 1/4 moon. Nor is there any description around it. Seems to be purely marking the the time of the month. I would say, with how intelligent Tavini is, that she would probably work out that if that thing's shadow were to fall elsewhere, then maybe you might be able to get somewhere.
Oh, so it needs to...
So maybe move your... Only thing I can think of is move your lantern to shine that thing somewhere else. Like, use it to adjust the shadow.
Is that something you want to try?
Yep.
Well, as you approach the gnomon, through the glass, Dreamer and Felgrin, you can distinctly see Tavini. Like, it warps her image some. But you also see that as she holds that lantern up, its shadow stretches opposite her to the west towards one of the half-moon symbols. Yet, at the same time, you could still distinctly see the shadow from the true moon is continuing to fall to the southeast towards that 1/4 moon symbol. So while she is able to create a shadow that touches the half moon, you are not certain if it is doing anything.
Interesting.
Though you guys also don't have anyone... Oh no, actually, let's see. Krellick, you have eyes on another tomb door past a couple of foxes who have their backs to you as they tear apart a rabbit. And it is as still and quiet as the door to the north that Rian had tried to shove open.
I think Rian's gonna try to take a look at this mirror.
I think Krullick's gonna step over these guys and take a look at this door.
Alright, we'll get to that door in a second. Rian, you approach a mirror and you're having to step delicately around goat droppings underfoot. And it's very much like a musty smell that you would associate with them. But you approach an oval mirror, 7 feet tall and about half as wide, which is encircled by a decorative stone frame. It reflects back your image clearly in the darkness. You know, it is. You're only able to see in dark vision right now, so in grayscale. But doesn't seem anything particularly weird about it.
Be like, I think you look at the mirror and be like, ask so much. Tell yourself 7 questions. He's like, just kind of not assuming nothing's going to happen. He like leads towards the mirror a little bit, and he's like, how do I open the door?
Yeah, nothing happens.
Yeah, I kind of figured. He'd be like, well, I'm out of ideas.
It is interesting, though, as you're leaning forward, you can see that the decorative frame around this mirror, the inscriptions glow with this silvery, scintillating light, and it's almost like catching a glimpse of some deep-sea creature briefly illuminating the darkness of the depths as it passes beneath a ship. There isn't enough light for the symbols to fully illuminate or to illuminate the chamber, but there's certainly a hint of magic in this. The light that you're seeing has this silvery color to it.
I have an idea. I think he's gonna walk up out here, and so Tavini, when he walks out, is Tavini doing her little lantern thing, like trying to make it touch the other ones?
Yeah, she's still trying to figure it out.
It's currently touching this symbol here on the far left, the half moon.
And the half moon says what again?
The half moons were for opening the tomb doors.
And the full moon is the one that says the ask yourself 7 questions thing?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Be like, hey Tavini, like, try something for me. I see you moving the shadow around. Try pointing it up to the mirror one. The one that talks about the 7 questions mirror thing. And then as he kind of gives her that, he kind of like scurries back towards the mirror.
Okay.
And just kind of sits there for a second looking at it.
Alright. And as you do that, Acrylic, you're standing in front of a very large stone door for several minutes as the trio of foxes behind you are, between the 3 of them, dragging away this half-eaten rabbit corpse. Just like away from the strange human that stepped over them while they were distracted.
Yep, don't blame them.
Nothing happens to that big stone door. And Tavini, as the shadow shifts with your own movement around the circle, now stretching northward towards Dreamer, part of the gnomon's shadow actually falls across him. And again, nothing happens. The shadow cast by the moon itself is faint in the light of your lantern, but still stretches to the southeast towards that 1/4 symbol.
Oh, gotcha. So it's gotta be moonlight. So nothing happens to the mirror on Rian's side then?
Nothing happens to the mirror.
Okay. Anybody got any thoughts? Rian kind of wanders over and like leans up against the thing. And he's like, I don't know what the hell to do with this thing. And just kind of puts his back on it and is like pointing with his thumb over his back.
Have we looked to the north at all?
We haven't been up there yet, no.
No, you can see there's a statue standing on what appears to be a slight flat hill above you there, Dreamer. And you can catch a glimpse of some pillars to the east.
What's further up the north through this little walkway?
Further up north is the edge of the forest. Appears to just be open, icy ground.
Like, Mary.
Yeah?
Flap up a little bit. See if, see what's those pillars over there.
Okay. She, flies up, and now at about 20, 30 feet or so, looking down, she calls back, there's a big stone box.
Big stone box, huh?
And there's some sort of structure to the northeast.
Huh. Oh.
You say it's up here?
Yeah. The building is on the other side of the hill. It's not very wide.
How high is this this little thingy, this little lip?
That little lip. Let me double check
I
here.
forget, was it like 10 feet? I think the other ones were.
Yes.
Okay. Let's say I think Rian will try to scramble up there.
Okay.
He's intrigued by this big stone box thing.
You want to give me an athletics check?
Absolutely.
11. You know, it's icy, and as you're stretching and jumping, you're just feeling snow under your hands, and you're actually scooping snow towards you and not making any progress. And you hear Miri above, there's stairs on the northeast end.
Oh, that'll do it then. Well, shit. You couldn't have said that a couple seconds ago.
You didn't ask.
Look like an asshole now. Yeah, so I think he'll come around.
That's nothing new.
He's like, well, you are kind of an asshole.
Rian, as you come around, you and Felgrin see that there is a large stone gazebo with an unlit stone brazier in the center, a bowl about 20 inches in diameter.
What's all this then?
What do you think would happen if I lit it?
I think we're about to find out.
He'll just throw a firebolt in it.
Okay. Felgrin, when you get close enough to be able to set fire to the contents, you see within that the dish is full of snow and pine needles, that the winds have swept away from the gazebo's polished marble floor. It's like they've been sort of protected in the bowl of this. As you light the pine needles on fire, they hiss and they spit as that snow starts to rapidly melt, and then very quickly gutter out, and you're just left with a bowl of water.
Well, that was boring. He just kind of keeps walking towards the stairs.
We're like, well, we shouldn't give up on this one just yet. I think.
No, I'm bored with it.
Okay, well, you go ahead. 1 second. I think Rian's sitting there, and he's like, you know what? I saw Grin do this once. Wonder if I can do it. And he's going to try to. He's going to try to shape water and freeze the water that's in the bowl. And then he's going to essentially just try to scoop it out of there. Like, just to make it dry in there.
Alrighty. What I will ask is, first, Tavini, are you following them, or are you sticking with Dreamer?
She'll wait for Dreamer. But, she will catch up once Dreamer.
So kind of setting herself up to keep an eye on them. And Rian.
Mm-hmm.
Or I should be asking Dane this.
Yes.
Do you want it to be difficult for Rian to shape water as it is a cantrip? From a narrative perspective.
Yeah, I guess we could do it for the first time, because he's never done it before, just for funsies.
Okay. Give me a Arcana check.
Great at this.
Boom.
Natty 20!
Nat 20.
This was totally worth the natural
All right.
20.
I'm a wizard, Harry.
So as you go to, you're reaching out with senses that you weren't quite aware that you had until your bond with Miri, and your life on the ocean has given you an intimate familiarity with water. So it doesn't come as surprising to you as you might have thought when you're able to almost connect with the water within this bowl and feel its undulations as it sloshes back and forth, and even as some of it begins to freeze again in the bitter cold. And without even really thinking about it, with a flick of your hand, you're able to send that water flying out of the bowl off to your right and just splash across the ground, freezing midair into these very fat droplets that land in the snow.
Huh,
Well,
that was awesome. I told you I could do it.
Beginner's luck.
Miri comes over and sticks her head in the bowl. Oh, it's pretty dry in here now.
But here's the thing, now it's not wet. Maybe we can get some leaves off these trees or something and dry them out. Throw them in there. And actually, he'll start going through his pack. I mean, I guess I could just throw a torch in there. Still got 10 of those. Never used one. So I'm friggin', I can see in the dark. So, yeah, I think he'll do that. I think he'll take out a torch and his tinder box. And he'll spark it up and toss the torch inside the little brazier. But I don't know if this is going to do anything,
All
but
right.
I got no other better leads.
I mean, it lights a very cheery fire, in the stone
Well, that was
bowl.
worth the effort.
The shadows of the gazebo's pillars are now like shivering and shaking on the ground, the snow around you. You know, yours and Miri's shadows and Krellick's as he walks up. You know, they're cast out onto the snow. But otherwise it's just a fire.
Well, yeah, I think he'll be like, well, it was worth a shot. He's gonna start following Grin. But as he's doing so, he's like letting snow melt in his hand. He's like holding his hand out and letting the snow melt. And then when it melts, he keeps like forming it into things. Like keeps trying out the cantrip, like to get used to it. So he's like making little things at first. Like first he's just making like little like turning into a ball of water and then turning it into whatever. And then like trying to get creative with it and turning it into a little sword.
Miri briefly swoops past you as you make it a sword and tries to bite it out of your hand. Flies off with a bit of the ice in her jaws just crunching.
Like, I was using that, little missy.
All you hear is just this cackling giggle above. Felgrin, as you are climbing to the top of this eastern berm, you see ahead of yourself a granite sarcophagus that rests in a half circle defined by 5 pillars of crystal. At the top of each of the pillars, from north to south, they depict a twig, a pine cone, a flame, a feather, and a humanoid hand.
Uh-huh. Yes, of course.
Now the question is that for these things? Or does that correspond with the little fire thing we just did? Up there. Because those kind of have like little posts to them too. Very similar to that.
Probably worth exploring a little more.
He's going to approach.
Okay. As you approach, the top of the sarcophagus is covered with several inches of snow that obscure any sort of inscription that might be on it.
Time to be the dummy who touches the sarcophagus.
Attaboy.
Yeah, he's gonna start.
Roll me a charisma saving throw. I mean,
wait a minute.
No.
What?
As you dust off the top of the pillar, you know, snow sloshing to either side, you know, slapping down onto the ground at your feet, it reveals an engraving of a brazier. A very familiar brazier, actually.
Interesting. The brazier that was foretold. Does it say anything?
It does not say anything. There's just these 5 crystal pillars, each of them depicting a different item, and then a inscription of a brazier on the sarcophagus's lid.
So, my first instinct is that we have to find each of these and throw it in that. And he points to the brazier.
Huh. Well?
Which is a bit concerning, because one of them is a hand.
Huh. Well?
Luckily, for me, it looks like a human hand.
Huh.
Your hands don't look any different.
He kind of wiggles the claws. A little different.
In stone, they wouldn't.
I'm a half-elf. Sorry.
Sharp claws, not sharp. You see the
I'm only
difference,
half human.
Dreamer? You being the authority on humans.
Get rid of your nails, it looks like a regular hand.
Touch my nails and we'll have words.
It sounds like we'll have more than words.
More than
Is
words.
all you have to do. Yep.
So Rian is the closest to a human. So sorry, tough beat.
Well,
Does it have to be a person?
It looks like a person's hand.
I mean,
It could just mean flesh.
It could be.
it seems odd for a hand.
It could be all of those things, plus a little burn. Maybe it doesn't have to, just a little one.
There is also a body We could test with.
It's a good call. I'd say we take a hoof.
There's no hoof up there.
The thing that's true. But okay, so here's the thing that's got me a little confused. Is one of the actual things on the pillars is a flame. On top of the brazier flame.
I think
like
the first step is you light it. Obviously, you can't burn things without lighting it, right?
So you think the middle,
Maybe,
that's what the
I've
middle flame stands for?
No
is that
idea.
to actually
This is a
add fire
guess.
to it?
I'm guessing. You know?
That's good.
Why
I
don't
mean,
we
it
start
might be.
with the
We could
easy
try it.
ones? Why don't we find a twig and throw it in? See
That's a
what
good call.
happens.
On it.
We'll deal with the hand last, I think.
I think, yeah, Rian's already walking down the way towards this tree.
I'll supervise
It's right
from
next
up
to
here. He just kind of stands over here
Sounds like a plan.
and looks.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he'll look for the
No, find
pine
a
cone
better
and the
one.
twig, since he's
Oh, I'm just kidding.
like, I'll find whatever one I goddamn well, please. Mutters under his breath, that he's far enough away. This fucking guy always telling me, trying to act like he's in charge and shit.
To
You have something to say?
so far away.
You can't hear me from there.
Tarini has taken out her little journal and is just writing down and sketching everything. From the circle in the middle, the statues all the way around, the inscriptions, everything that she's seen going through here. Seen and heard. And she's going to write a little note at the bottom wondering if they're supposed to come back on the half moon and the full moon. And then figuring out how many weeks it is until the half moon, and then how many more until the full moon.
Yeah, judging on the phase of the moon, because you guys have been traveling through Icewind Dale for a while, and you had been here at one time on the full moon, and on part of your adventures anyway. You're looking at this time a 3/4 full moon.
Okay, so it's on the way to full.
Yeah, you're a week out from a full moon. Rian, you found some twigs.
Yay!
Not very hard at the edge of a forest. You know, you managed to pull some down. And while you're looking, you also see a few pine cones that have fallen into the snow. And recalling that one of the symbols was a pine cone, you pick up one of those to bring along with you to the brazier.
Sweet. Okay.
Are you lighting these, yeah?
Yeah, I think he's gonna holler out to them, be like, okay, I'm gonna throw them in, keep an eye on
Yeah,
those
he's
things, tell me
looking
what
at 'em.
happens.
Okay.
And then he'll take the twig first and throw it in and kind of like wait to hear, like, if everybody says anything.
As you toss the twig in, nothing happens.
No,
Not with the pillars, not with the brazier.
I told you it wasn't good enough.
What? Okay. Well, here. So he knows the twig is the top little peg here. So he's gonna wander over to that little top peg and take another twig and just set it on top of the
These
peg.
are pillars.
Like
These
that?
are pillars that lead to like the bit of a roof to the gazebo you're under.
Oh, okay. So there's a
Yeah,
roof here.
sorry.
Understood.
Well, maybe
understood.
nothing happens until
Okay,
we
well.
do all of them.
Oh, good call. Well, actually, here. He's gonna take the
I should
torch.
say the fire that you lit earlier, the torch is no, it would still be burning. So actually, as the twig splashes down into the bottom of the bowl, the light of the torch very briefly flickers a silvery color.
Oh, okay. Hey, this thing it turned silver for a second when I burnt the twig. I think we're onto something. Yep, I think he'll then throw the pine cone in also.
You get the same, slightly larger flicker of silvery light, almost like
Ooh.
moonlight.
Okay. Does anybody have a feather?
He just immediately looks at Dreamer.
Mm-hmm.
Do you
I don't have a
f-
feather.
Can you summon your bird and take a feather from it?
Oh, that's
I
good.
don't-
Or there were some. I think I saw some birds in there that flew out when we did our little thing. I bet you there might be some back in the place.
I don't know if a magical feather from a familiar will work.
It's a feather's a feather. You're summoning it from somewhere, right?
Yeah. As they start arguing, he starts walking
It's not
back
a
into
fake bird. It's just a magical bird.
I order.
It's also not a bird.
Rian,
You can turn yourself into a bird, and we can pluck a feather from you.
much like you had recalled as their argument fades into the distance from
that's
you,
gonna say. Just leave him. He's like, oh, Jesus Christ.
you could see that here in the darkness, watching the party warily the whole time, and now watching the foxes with a very hungry gaze, is an owl perched atop the top of one of these statues. And as it hears your boots sort of tapping on the stone behind it, its head turns 180 degrees around to glare balefully at you.
And like, oh boy. I'm gonna quit. As he's sitting there, I'm gonna look around below him to see if there's any, like, feathers that just have, like, around the ground or anything like that. Because he's kind of, like, gritting his teeth, like, I'm gonna have to tear out a feather of this thing if there's nothing laying around.
Surprisingly, here in the space where, several animals have taken shelter, including a few birds, there are some scattered feathers lying about the bottom. Under the statue where this owl is, though, is this magnificent, very large wing feather.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, like, sitting at the base of that statue.
I, like, kind of look at him, and I, like, put my hands up and slowly walk towards. It's like, just gonna borrow that right there, buddy.
As you get within
Just
10
nice.
feet,
Yeah.
the owl gives this very loud warning hiss. And you see its feathers fluff up as it tries to make itself bigger.
I think Rian is going to this is so stupid. But you know what? Fuck it. I know what he's gonna do. He's gonna reach down and pick up a rock and just, like, wing it near it, like at the wall behind it, and just to, like, scare it off. It's like I'm not gonna let. He's like, I'm not getting close enough for you to hit me, and I don't want to kill you. So you're gonna get the hell out of here. Like he's gonna wing it past him, type thing.
Yeah. So as you bend to pick up a rock and chuck it at the owl, the rock sparks off the stone wall behind it. It silently swoops to the far end of the chamber towards the mirror and lands on the floor, almost skidding to a halt, where it kind of corrects its wings, folds them back in, and twists that head around to watch you again very, very angrily.
Yeah, they're like, I'm sorry. It's like, I need this feather. It's for the greater good. And he reaches down, picks up the feather, and the statue. Okay, this is really fucking reaching. The statue doesn't happen to have a hand on it, that I can see, does it?
All of these statues of elves, they have hands, and they have hands that are gripping staves.
And how far are these ones? These ones aren't really far up in the air, are they? Like the other ones are?
No, indoors, the statues are about 7 feet tall.
Yeah, I think... Because that or it's his own goddamn hand, so he's going to give it a shot. I think he's going to walk up to that statue and, like, kind of eye the hand and, like, take the butt of his sword and see if he can't, like, crack right at the wrist and try to, like, break the hand of the statue. These things are magical, aren't they? Didn't we find magic radiating off these things?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, fuck, I'm doing it. It's that or my own hand. Like, that's all I can think of is that I'm gonna stick my hand in that fire. I don't want to, like, burn my own hand. Like,
And
I don't
now-
think Rian's trying everything not to.
Surprisingly, as you strike your first blow against the statue, no magic harms you.
Yay! But
And you're able to continue to work at it. It will take you several minutes to hack a hand free. And I hope that you're doing it with the Dragon Slayer sword, because it's magic, because otherwise you're going to ruin your other sword.
actually, I forgot that I had the pick that I took from
Oh, yep.
the cave, so I'm probably doing that, just smacking right at the wrist of the hand until I can get it, like, good and chiseled, and then try to pry it off and bust it.
Yeah, it takes a bit, about 2 or 3 minutes, but you are able to hack off this hand gripped around a section of the staff. You have to chip above the staff and below the staff, so you now have a disembodied hand at the wrist that seems to be gripping a cylinder that's broken.
Perfect. He just kind of holds it. I think he's very full of himself right now. He's like, I'm a goddamn genius.
As for Dreamer, as you approach the brazier where, you could see the torch that Rian had put into it continuing to burn, continuing to throw off shadows from the gazebo's pillars onto the snow, you lob a bit of magic in there, some fire, some produce flame. And as it strikes the torch, the fire kicks up, this big old blaze, and very quickly burns away the torch. By the time Rian gets there, it is starting to gutter out.
Huh. What happened to my fire?
I tried something.
Okay, well, I can't fault you for that. That's all I'm doing too, so...
There's no way that's going to
I think
work.
since it... He's like...
Yeah.
Oh, does he see the hand that I'm carrying? Be like, you don't know that.
Fair enough. Yeah, Felgren's staying put.
Yeah, that's probably wise.
Yep.
Especially when the ancient
Lich.
fucking evil within that, lich inside that fucking sarcophagus
Yeah.
wakes up.
So, before you toss in the hand and the feather, the pine cone and twig seem to have burned away. Are you gathering more, or are you just YOLO tossing it in there?
At first, I'm going to just slide them in there and see what happens, if there's any type of magic that happens. And if nothing happens, then I'll just pull them out and then go grab another twig and whatever. And then I'll probably be like, hey, if that's let's see what happens first. So if I
if you put the feather in there, it's gonna burn up immediately.
Yeah.
Put the hand in first.
Oh, is there fire in there?
Yeah.
Still?
Yeah, there's still, it's starting to gutter out. The torch was briefly consumed by a produce flame spell, so it's not as
Okay.
It's burned up a lot of fuel.
Okay. Well, I guess, throw the hand in and see what happens.
It's very strange because while the statue depicts a humanoid hand in crystal, as the remaining flames lick at the stone statue's hand, you are seeing a faint shift to silver.
Well, I'll be damned. And then I think he'll throw the feather in also then. He's like, I think it worked!
Tavini runs to grab a pine cone and a twig.
Alright, and as Tavini adds her offerings before the pine cone, or before the feather finishes burning away, though the fuel is consumed and the only thing that's left behind is that hand gripping its invisible its cylinder, a silvery flame remains, casting out its light, shadows from the pair of you and the pillars standing around. And there's a great deal of heat and light spilling from this, about as much as you would expect from a campfire. And as they burn,
Am I the only one up there right now?
Felgren, Miri,
No,
and
Krellick's up there.
Krellick.
Okay.
I would say Tavini is down there because she assisted with the tossing some stuff in. Those of you who are closest to the sarcophagus
Oh.
hear that lid slowly, agonizingly grinding to one side as it opens. And you're struck immediately by a scent. And strangely, it's not an unpleasant one.
I was about to say daisies.
Donuts.
Donuts.
No, there is this very comforting smell. A bit like pumpkin spice or, very, very earthy tones. And if you're close enough to peek in, Felgren, you're tall, you can see over the lip of this sarcophagus. You can see a dried corpse in wrappings within, its hands resting across its breast. You could see hints of pointed ears on either side of that head.
Hello, friends. Dreamer here. It's time to explore the world, but you just need a few supplies to get started. Our friends at RedTrapGames.com have what you need at a reasonable price, whether you're an explorer or the guide for adventures. They carry dice, maps, minis, and even books to aid your adventure. If you use the code SQLR21 at checkout, you can get 10% off your purchase. That's more money to spend on potions. Or mechanical goldfish.
Did anything happen?
Felger's just staring at it.
The box will
Just
open.
staring at it.
Oh shit. Okay. I think he'll start
I
making.
think
his way up
Krell's gonna
there.
have to get closer because he can't
Yes.
see nothing.
Do you think it's alive? He moves next to it.
Krellick and Felgrin, as you draw nearer, you see a finger
Oh
twitch.
dear God.
Oh, shit. It's alive! It's alive!
And sitting up very quickly and placing the heel of its hand to its forehead as if, pained or pushing back a headache, sits a mummy.
Good morning?
Turns its head towards you very, very agonizingly slow. And you can see in those eye sockets beneath the bandages, moonlight glinting in the eyes.
Oh. That's
Oh.
not good.
It starts to say something in a language that you don't understand, but you know it because you've been around, civilized society long enough to recognize Elvish.
Not Sylvan. Rip.
Dreamer, let's see if you know what it's saying.
Yeah, he should be with us. Me and him both came up.
Dreamer, as you draw closer, you hear what this thing is asking. Krellick, are you my liberators?
I will respond in Elvish. At the moment, yes. Seems we are.
Seems to accept that answer and starts to pull itself out of the
Oh, it's
sarcophagus.
getting out.
Oh,
Nine hells.
You see the very slender and made more slumber because of just the desiccation of this corpse. The bandages clinging to its body. It's got multiple necklaces of silver done in very, very intricate, ancient elven design. And they sort of clink and rattle off one another as it climbs out. And then stretches its arms over its head as if it's been far too long in one position.
Like, what are we doing here, Dreamer?
May we have the pleasure of knowing your name?
It doesn't answer you immediately. Instead, takes the time to really kind of scan the edge of the forest. It looks over towards the gnomon in the center of the courtyard to the west, to the brazier burning to the north. It's been so long. Sorry you asked my name.
I did.
I'm Sanhar.
And, Sanar, why were you trapped?
I died. And it looks back towards the tomb, and even with its face fixed and, there's no expression that changes. There's no flesh to make an expression. But even in its tone, you can hear the discomfort as it glances back at the sarcophagus. And now those of you who have come atop the berm are catching that scent of pumpkin spice, of earthy smells, and you realize it's whatever has been used to preserve this mummy grows much stronger as she exits her tomb.
She must have died in the fall.
Too much Starbucks.
Yeah. Pumpkin spice latte.
Fuck you.
Agreed.
Ancient Karens come back to
Oh my
life.
God, no.
Put her back!
What have we done?
Put her back in. Quick. I want to see your manager. No!
I think Krellick's gonna just look it back and forth between the mummy and Dreamer, like,
Yeah,
tell
that's
us something,
basically...
dude.
That's what Felgren's doing, is ping-ponging between them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I think everybody is just like, okay. Hand on the sword.
Well,
Like,
welcome to the
Okay.
Dreamer Show.
huh?
We seek to enter the tombs, but we have missed the phase of the moon. Do you know of another way?
And she turns and she looks very keenly at you. You are familiar with the magics of nature. Can you not call the moon?
There's a 3rd level spell called Moonbeam that I do not have prepared.
Yep, that's what I was thinking that the whole time. Like, I was like, probably Moonbeam would work really well with this, but it's literally a
it's
circle of moon that would fit over top of any of those little circles.
actually it's not 3rd, it's 2nd. I don't have it prepared no matter what. I could call the moon tomorrow.
You can always take a nap.
I don't know that time matters for me. You can do as you please here, this place. Be respectful of the dead. And is continuing to look around as if still getting its bearings. It hasn't seen this place in a very, very long time.
Does anyone have questions for the mummy?
Why were they here?
What was this place?
A gathering for people like you and I. Temple of sorts. Tomb for preserving our dead.
Does Dreamer translate this to the group?
Yeah, I'm gonna translate it on this one.
She's not gonna go all crazy and try to kill all the townsfolk, is she?
That's a great question.
Did she make the Dread White Moose attack those people?
I thought Felgren said that the druid was in there.
Well, I mean, yes. That's what the fox said, yes.
God damn it, I was hoping he wouldn't.
That wasn't a reference that needed to be made. Shame on you.
Yeah, sometimes I take the low-hanging fruit, yeah, fundamental flaw.
Anyway,
Is the old man having a stroke?
Yep.
the one I spoke to didn't mention this one,
Unless she is the druid.
but they said they were inside, not out here. So, it's possible, yes. But that would mean that the one I spoke to is mistaken.
A dreamer.
Mm-hmm.
With your naturally high insight, you're watching as this mummy, with those 2 pinpoints of moonlight in its eyes, seemingly its head swinging to look at each person as they're speaking. And it takes you a bit to pick up on it, but it strikes you that she's following the conversation. She can understand it.
Just doesn't speak it.
Or does she?
Do you speak common?
Better than you, I think.
Oh my god. Just kind of rubs his forehead.
Oh,
Well, that makes this easier, if not annoying.
then were you the one to ask the Dread White Moose to attack people?
I don't know of your moose.
Philger just kind of points.
And she's coming to the edge of the berm, overlooking the gnomon, and seeing the massive corpse lying there at the south end. That.
Mm-hmm.
No, not my work. I think you're the first I've spoken to in a few hundred years.
Quite a spell.
Why were you in the tomb if...
Well, that's where you place the dead, dear.
But you are... not?
She's animated. She's definitely dead.
Oh.
She's dead. What's having her up and talking is definitely not life. But yes, it is odd. Why are you able to be awakened? I think is a good question to ask, right?
She looks to the 5 pillars, each with their depiction of a twig, a pine cone, flame, fire in a hand, and to the distant shimmering light of the gazebo on the other side of the berm to the north. And after a moment, well, my people need guidance. And if there are no more elves here, seems I'll have to seek them out for guidance.
Just a few halves. He just kind of looks at Rian.
Like one half, yeah.
Well, yeah,
By your
I'm talking
powers
about
combined.
talking about myself as well.
You're half elf?
Eladrin.
I don't. God bless you.
It's a fey elf.
Neither
Oh.
drow, and she seems to be looking between Felgren and Rian very intently.
No. Well, maybe him. I don't know.
I-
He's a little too pale.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't really have the complexion. I don't know. I never met my father, so I don't know what type of elf he is. My mom never talked about it much, but that seems kind of off topic for this moment right now.
Well, I
talking to a
imagine
mummy.
she doesn't like them. I think because most people don't, because they're assholes.
Unless she is. one.
Dislike would be an overcomplication. And she nods at Rian's words. Once drow,
Hey, okay.
sworn to Elistrae.
You were a drow?
I'm a moon elf, dear.
Oh.
I think he leans into Felger and he's like, "What's that? What's a moon elf? I don't know what a moon elf
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Good.
Well,
okay.
no, I think I've heard of them.
Yeah, this is a new one. to
I've
me.
never met one.
Right.
She can probably hear us.
Yeah, most likely, but. Oh, yeah, okay. Never mind, you're right.
She's looking at us now.
She is indeed looking at you.
Like, so,
I need to whisper more quietly.
I thought this was pretty good. Anyways, what's a moon elf? I'm not familiar with a moon elf. I'm not really familiar with elves, really, honestly. Like I said, my mother's human and I never really grew up around them. I don't even speak Elvish.
The elves you would know in the day are most likely elves associated with the sun. We were a distinct culture, but some of our number came from the drow. A few of us broke off because they weren't accepted as readily into our society as one might hope.
Well, if you think about it, it makes sense, right?
We came here and dedicated a space to the goddess that had liberated those among us that were from the Underdark, Elistrae.
Interesting. So, who put you here? Did you know that? You said you died, but do you know who would have entombed you here to be and set you up to be reawakened like this?
Not specifically. Maybe one of the other priestesses, bound and preserved for an instance where we might be needed.
Let's get to the middle of the shrubbery maze. Can you open the tomb? Or tell us how? Is it only moonlight?
Unless you're going to try to break through ensorcelled stone,
Seems like a poor idea.
moonlight it is.
Great.
I don't know his. Oh no, it's that's not mithril. I was going to say shit. It's only silver.
Would that flame over there work?
What about it?
Is the flame not burning silver right now?
Hey, does that count as like
No, it's-
moonlight?
This is continuing to burn silver in the brazier.
Yeah, I think he's asking if that's considered moonlight.
Yeah, if that would like double as moonlight. Probably not.
You can try it. That is new to me. It was not here when I lived.
Aye, makes sense. She said that she didn't know who did this to her, so. Okay, well.
Well, it could be moonlight, it could be just dust. I've seen it with, like, prestidigitation, you know?
That's true. So the one of the things we had to do here to get it was to put a human hand in the burning. Does that sound like something that normally your druid friends would be doing? Just throwing human hands in fires and whatnot?
She looks from each of the pillars, and then to each of you. Who gave up their hand?
He holds up both his hands just with a smile. But like, oh, it was someone else's hand, trust me.
He harvested it from a statue.
Rat me out.
So, well, it's curious. I want to know what it means, if it means anything.
for the first time in that, very, very difficult to read face, because, obviously, I keep saying there's no flesh there to form expressions, but you do see a smile, a big, almost rictus grin
See?
that
Good thing.
is unnerving.
Oh.
Though from her voice, you can probably tell that she's not trying to be unnerving.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine if you'd placed a flesh hand in there, you might have had a different experience.
Oh, I'm sure. Probably gonna have burned my goddamn hand off.
The test, then.
The test? Test to see if it'll burn a hand off?
That doesn't
She
seem
shakes her
wise.
head
I was gonna
and
say.
then just stares at you, Rian.
Okay. What type of test you looking for?
You've already taken it and passed.
Oh, I see. The test
Read
was...
into your own actions.
Gotcha. Not, understood. Sorry, I wasn't following you there for a second. But, say, used to people to testing us.
True. Maybe we could light a torch with it? Try that?
Sounds good to me.
If not, I think we're here for the night. With a mummy. No offense, this is new to me.
She laces her fingers together over her stomach and just stands there imperiously.
Anyway.
Hey, well, I'm sure we'll be back to talk. But, yeah, we're gonna attempt to get this thing open. Is there anything we can get for you? Like, are you thirsty?
Bottle of water?
I was gonna say, maybe, I have some rations. Are you hungry? Seems like if you've been sleeping for like 100 years or so, you might be famished.
I
have a berry.
want for nothing. But I will accompany you.
Okay. More the merrier. And he kind of shivers a little bit.
The more, the creepier.
Yeah.
You were around a very long time ago, yes?
Yes.
Were you familiar with Oriel?
The Frost Maiden.
Yes.
No more familiar than I would be with any of the other pantheons.
So, the permanent dark sky.
Is it permanent? I've only just woken up.
Yes.
She looks curiously at the stars above.
We think she is responsible. Perhaps?
She stands at the top of the stairs leading down from the berm, and after wavering a moment, starts to painstakingly descend them.
Yeah, like,
Just so slow.
if you want to just jump off there, I can feather fall you. Like, that looks painful. Say it to
Gotta
me.
be gentle on Grandma's knees.
I think Rian, after seeing her go like halfway down, would kind of come over and be like, "Here, give me your hand. I'll help you a little bit."
She reaches out and places her fingers lightly into yours. It's a very slender hand.
Mm-hmm.
Partially because there's no flesh on it, you're just feeling bone and cloth.
Mm-hmm.
And a bit of dust crumbling into your palm. And partially because you could tell this person in life would have had a very slender build. And as she reaches the bottom of the steps, she gives you a grateful squeeze of the hand.
Oh shucks. I think
Thank
I
you.
finally found Rian's bow.
Aw.
Yeah. Not the crazy tavern
Oh,
lady, but
that's
this undead
horrifying.
mummy.
Sonar comes over to the brazier where moonlight is spilling out, and she casts a glance at the stairs leading up the gazebo, and then again sort of laces her fingers in front of her stomach and stands there in a posture that betrays patience.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of wisdom, maybe even a touch of arrogance.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think Rian will pull his torch out and stick it in the moonlight fire. Or the fire, calling it moonlight fire and hoping it's moonlight fire, but
Maybe if we say it enough, she'll start believing it.
there you go. We're gonna manifest it's like the secret.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay, yeah, so he's gonna get his torch all doused in silver flame.
You plunge your unlit torch into the silvery flame, take it out of the brazier, and it is unburnt.
It's unburnt.
It's unburnt. There's still heat and light and obvious flames coming out of this brazier, but they have a hint of moonlight in them now. And it's strange because you can see into the bottom of the bowl, and at the base of those flames, the only bit of fuel remaining that you had tossed in there is that stone hand.
Nice.
Everything else has been burnt away.
But my torch didn't catch? Or it did catch?
Your torch did not catch.
Interesting.
Felgren,
Hmm?
can't you move things with a little hand?
Yes, why?
Can it lift up that burning hand right now?
Is the hand on fire?
Ooh, that's
The
a
hand
good
is
question.
certainly in the brazier. It's hard to tell because it's consumed in flame.
Now, is it less than 10 pounds?
Yeah, it would be less than 10 pounds.
Well, then he'll,
It's like 9.8.
kind of flick his wrist and summon the mage hand.
All right. As
And he'll,
soon
pluck it up with one finger and a thumb. Like, whoop.
Just
So as the mage hand starts to lift this humanoid stone fist out of the bowl, as soon as it is out of the brazier, the light immediately gutters out, and just as quickly, Sonar collapses in a dry heap on the ground.
Oh dear.
Oh, shit.
He drops it.
It clangs down and sort of bounces around in the bottom of the bowl before coming to a stop, but it doesn't reignite.
Oh, 9 hells.
Someone else is going to
Oh.
get a fucking feather from that owl. It's going to fucking have its way with me if I go that way.
Dreamer, go get the feather.
Tavini, Tavini, like, gets out a blanket and, like, lays it on the ground and gently, like, moves Sana, tries to move her very gently onto the blanket.
Yeah, she is very, very easy to move, you know? Tall and slender though she is, weighs hardly more than a child. All dry and dusty.
Trying not to, like, damage her at all.
You could also distantly hear that now that the flames are no longer burning in the brazier, you could hear the grinding of stone atop the burn.
Oh, it fucking closed. Never mind. Okay. Like, well, Reno go gather up, he'll spark up his torch again as he walks over to the tree and to pick up some pine cones and twigs again.
Okay. And you know, heading back into the tomb, you do manage to find a couple feathers lying around on the ground. Dreamer, you also see the owl that Rian seems to be complaining about is perched atop a statue to the north of the chamber now. And as it sees you, it floofs up to make itself look bigger and gives this low hiss through a parted beak.
I'll point my finger at it, like, don't give me that.
You want some, mate?
You fucking what?
You fucking what, mate? You fucking what?
Dreamer also puffs up as well, in a way. It just points at the owl.
Come at me, bruv.
The owl, roll me an animal handling check.
Stupid.
Hey, 16.
16.
Not bad.
So as you make yourself look bigger and continue to point at this owl, it puffs up even bigger, if it could before, and starts shifting from foot to foot, looking very, very angry. And then suddenly it breaks eye contact with you and goes swooping out the open entrance to the tomb.
That's
And
right.
wings its way into the forest.
It attacks Rhea.
That's right. Alright, I'll take my feathers back to the brazier.
Yep.
When he gets back, they're like, okay, I think we got it this time. I guess we're not moving that hand. And, we'll have to figure something else
Is the
out.
hand damaged?
I don't think so. I think he holds, like, reaches in there and kind of holds up the stone hand. It's still good, right?
The hand's good.
Alright.
Hasn't been burned.
It's got a bit of charring on the outside, but it's made of marble. So it's more just like the leftover dust and residue of the other fuel items that had burnt in there.
Yeah, just like the ash.
So it hasn't lost any mass.
It hasn't lost any mass.
Cool.
Sweet.
Dreamer, as you toss the feather in there, and, Rian's new twigs and pine cones go in. Who's doing the final touch of lighting this thing again?
So anybody can. I got my torch out, but anybody can magic it if they want.
Can I use my druid craft to light a small campfire?
I mean,
Yeah.
if anything, I can firebolt it.
True. Yeah, and we got a million different ways of lighting it.
Dreamer, as you reach out and pluck one of the twigs up between your thumb and forefinger, with a whisper, the end of it catches a light, and you're able to put it back into the rest of the bowl, where very quickly the fuel is consumed and it starts to glow that same silvery color again. Even as, now that you're standing over it, you see the twigs and the feather get consumed in an instant, and the pine cone takes a bit longer. As soon as it's lit, Sanar, the mummy, rises again and starts to pick herself up out of the snow, seemingly no worse for the wear. And you hear the distant grinding of that tomb reopening to the south of you on the berm.
Like, oh, there you are. Oh, sorry about that. So, apparently, if we take anything back out of the brazier, you collapse again. And, so we're going to figure something else out about that.
Well, it seems like we're waiting. Right?
Yes. It also might mean that if a flesh hand was in the fire, it would burn.
Oh, that's a good call. If it was burned up, you couldn't take it out. That's a good call.
Yes, and if it was living, it would be endurance.
I think you would have had to keep it in there for as long as you wanted to speak with her.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, my
Yeah,
goodness.
you would have had to, yes, keep your hand in, and if you took it out, well, she crumbles.
Wonder what happens if you leave it in there until it's completely consumed.
Would be impressive.
Oh,
And horrible.
I'm just saying, maybe if we found a hand, like a dead hand.
This is how it lasts forever.
Yeah, either way, it's not important. Just I turn to Sanar and be like, yeah. So don't take that hand out of there. You may want to lock this up or something at some point, so somebody doesn't wander in and just snag it out.
Thank you for the warning.
No problem.
You say you're spending the night.
It's looking that way. If we're going to try to get into this tomb, I'm going to need a moonlight spell, and unfortunately.
Apparently Dreamer needs a night to make friends with the moon or whatever he does.
Aye.
Then we will camp together, and you will tell me of the modern day.
I have a question, though.
You seem to have many.
He does.
How many members were there? Felgen, weren't you given a name?
A name? Oh,
Yes.
the druid inside?
Yes.
What was her name? Josie?
Ravison.
Ravison?
Ravison.
Ravison was her name, I think, or their name.
That is not a name I know.
After your time.
Must be. Our numbers were always small.
Well, apparently she's not very nice.
And she is responsible for your, moose?
According to a friend.
That's what we were told.
It was a murderous moose.
Aye, murderous moose. A man-eating murderous moose.
A malicious man-eating.
Anybody else want to get on this?
A
Massive.
malignant, malicious, man-eating
There you go.
murderous
A
moose.
malignant, massive, malicious man-eating moose.
A massive, malignant, murderous, man-eating moose.
Like one of those tongue twisters.
Yeah.
Monstrous?
There you go. Good
A
one.
mammoth mammalian
Malevolent. Oh, it's a good one too.
murderous, man-eating moose.
Man-eating moose of the Moon Temple.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was
Anywho.
fun.
Of the mummy's moon temple.
Of the Mummy's Moon Temple. Perfect. Okay, we're done.
Okay.
You said this brazier's actually giving off fire, right?
Yeah, it's
yeah.
actually, it's very comfortable, and even warm where you
Yeah.
are right now.
Perfect. Might as well set up right here then.
Yeah.
Sounds like
All
a
right.
plan.
So, not heading into the shelter of the tomb, camping out here at the
Yeah, if it's comfy, might as well.
Edge of the berm in the wood. All right.
Yeah, I have a feeling that just in case Miss Druid decides to attack us in our sleep, we'd be better out here than in there.
So, you all set up your sleeping bags around the marble platform of the gazebo around these silvery flames. There's enough heat being thrown off that the snow nearest the base of the brazier is starting to melt, and you're seeing hints of dead grass beneath and bare earth. The woods are silent as they've always been here in the, perpetual night caused by Arl. Except for the distant hooting of an owl, and ever so faintly, to the north of you, the scream of a rabbit which abruptly cuts out.
And you got another one.